So here we go. It all comes down to this. 2 battles on the night. 3 battlers. 1 will go home. Did I say 3? 4 battlers actually. 3 already in the house. 1 for battle 2. Well, certain circumstances changed course. One of the battlers was to come in from Benin. She couldn't make it. And so I get to use my veto power and bring somebody else in who is granted opportunity to find their way here. Benin happens. But what a shame. Would have been nice to see the ever so able Glory perform. We'll see how that one goes. But the rules are the rules. We will continue. Samson fell last night. Glory falls tonight, even before a ball was kicked. Or is it before a voice was unleashed? The voice will know more about that.
Perhaps.
He's our voice expert. Okay, so tonight, Battle 1, which indeed is Battle 3 of Season 3, is between 2 fine gentlemen. Enter Olufemi Olajide Taiwo. Fan Battle Season 2 alumni is known as Femi the Pundit. He's a technical support engineer. He supports Chelsea. Couldn't be bothered about the local teams. He stays in Orile Gomu, Surulere. On Twitter, they call him at Femi the Pundit, same as on Instagram. Femi makes his first appearance of Fan Battle 3. He's battling for $1 million. Good evening and welcome, Femi.
Oh, good evening, team. It's really great to be here again, and this feeling coming around here, this very beautiful studio. Anytime I come around here, I have this great feeling that something great is going to happen, and I'm very delighted to be here again, seeing the team and seeing everybody. I'm so excited to be here again.
His contestant, a young man who lives somewhere in Abule Oshun, Waterside, Badagry Expressway. He found his way to the studio, representing Amuwodofin local government. He's a supporter of Liverpool on the global stage, Eyimba on the local stage. It's businessman Prosper Ubani. Welcome, Prosper.
Good evening, Femi. Good evening, the gang. Would I say I'm starstruck? Seeing everyone for the first time. I'm really happy to be here, and I'm ready to go.
All right, Prosper, will you live up to your name? Or will Femi confuse you with the love in his name?
Femi is a man, I'm a guy, so I'm straight.
Well, we couldn't. These days, we are not even too sure anymore. But anyway, let's get on with the show. So, Battle 3, tonight, gentlemen. Who listened to the show last night? You did, Prosper. I did. Femi.
Yes.
Sometimes second chances are deceptive. Every battle is a final. Treat it as such, and maybe you'll strengthen your leg as you seek procession to the next round, which will be the round of 14. Tonight, these 2 gentlemen have to battle over a subject. And that subject is relating to the emphasis on statistics in recent time in football. There has been a lot more emphasis these days. Talk about most goals, most assists, and so on. Question: are statistics ruining the game of football and making it expressionless? Is too much attention to football statistics destroying the game and making it a bit more stereotypical and less expressive? We put this into a battle debate format for these 2 gentlemen. The result is, well, Femi says no. Statistics is not destroying the game. Prosper says, yes, it is. Remember, these two men picked their positions by lottery. It does not reflect what they truly believe. So when you vote, remember that. Don't vote based on what you agree with in the two positions. Vote based on how impressed you are by the performance of either candidate. Remember that. We're streaming live on Facebook, Nigeria Info 993. We're streaming live on the Nigeria Info YouTube channel. But you will get that live stream embedded on our Twitter handle. That's at Nigeria Info FM. You get to vote on Facebook and Twitter, as do you via the phone lines. After the battle, 7 people will determine the fate of these guys via the phone lines for a whopping 20% of the entire score. And then we'll come to the panel of judges. Tony, Sam, and Ada, each of them carrying a weighty 20 marks for a total of 60 panel marks, making 80. The final 20 is split between Facebook and Twitter, 10-10. Last night, 2 battles produced 100% catastrophe for Kelvin. What will happen tonight? Will we see a sweeping of the boards? Will we see a draw, the first draw of Fan Battle Season 3? It is time to find out. Gentlemen, are you ready to go?
Yeah.
Ready. So just to put it in perspective and counter me if I'm wrong, Femi, your point is statistics are not destroying football.
Absolutely.
Prosper, statistics are destroying football.
Definitely.
You'll have a minute each to open up your arguments. Femi, you will go first. Your minute starts right now.
Good evening, everyone. It's funny how people think that statistics is destroying football, but unfortunately, statistics is part of the game right from the beginning. There's no way you can rule out statistics in football, because the game itself is built on statistics. Goals that are scored are stats. Goalkeeper errors, goalkeeper performance, team generality are built on statistics. So if people are saying statistics are ruining football, I wonder where they get that from. Unfortunately, lately, concentration has been more on goals scored and assists, and performances they just barely see and identify with. But football goes beyond just goals and assists that are made on the field. Football starts even before football itself is kicked on the pitch. So statistics based on the teams that are playing, their past games, the coach, the mentality of the team generally, how they form the team, how they perform, and how they attack and how they defend. These are all statistics, and they go a long way to determine how statistics have effects in teams and other performances.
Experience at play there. When the bell goes, just finish that thought and don't freeze. Okay, thank you very much. Your position is noted. The applause, suggests so. Prosper. Statistics are ruining the game. You have a minute to tell us why you are so convinced. Your clock is ticking.
Goals might win you games, but stats don't always tell the whole story. I was watching an interview on Bean Sports that was Andy Gary, and he interviewed an England international and asked him, why do teams pass these days so much to the back, sideways? And the England international told him that they are doing this to up their pass accuracy percentage. So it means that if he plays like 7 to 8 long balls, which are intended to get goals, but they don't get goals, they don't get there, that in the morning he'll be pulled up in the club on Monday morning and told that your pass percentage is very low at 75%. We need it to be at 90. So what does that mean? It means that the next game, this guy starts passing sideways and backwards, and what happens? His pass percentage increases. That is what statistics is doing to the game. It is making players play useless passes and making the game more meaningless.
Thank you very much for that robust two-way argument. Gentlemen, you have 2 minutes. 2 minutes to argue it out. Your 2 minutes start right now. We don't hear. Let's go.
Unfortunately, it seems like I would disagree with the position of the person you just mentioned, because passing back not necessarily mean you are just trying to start up the statistics, as they would say. Actually,
this is an infomercial.
It is the opinion of such a person, actually, but passing back could mean a pattern of play which will draw.
Hang on, gentlemen. We'll come back. Let's move on to the show. Let's move on with it. All right, guys. Femi and Prosper, they had their opening arguments and they were cut short in the early stages of their head-to-head. I'll give them 2 minutes to do that. Depending on how that goes, I will hold the liberty to decide whether to add additional time or stop it there. We will see which way it flies. You can follow us. We're streaming live on Facebook. And we're interesting because our live stream also gives you, just in case you don't catch clearly, from our live stream, you can see the words we are speaking typed out. Something like what do they call it now in movies? They call it what's that name now? You guys help me. Subtitles.
Yeah.
Okay, there are subtitles. You can follow through, and you will get to vote. We would advise that you do not vote yet. Yes, you've heard the opening argument. Remember, this is not about what you think about the topic. It's not about what Femi thinks about the topic or what Prosper thinks about the topic. It is about Femi's performance or Prosper's performance. AKA, you can agree with the position of Femi, but you can vote for Prosper if you feel Prosper impressed you better or impressed you more than Femi. You can flip that script, agree with the position of Prosper, but vote for Femi because Femi impressed you. Do you understand that? At the end of the day, ask yourself, who of these two guys would I want to listen to? Do you understand? And make no mistake, I'm not talking about Fonel. I'm not talking about Fonet. I'm not talking about Queen's English. I'm not talking about. I'm not talking mainly about
aesthetics.
Yeah, or enunciation, which is important in broadcasting because you are communicating. But there are some people who don't have the gift of enunciation, but they find ways of communicating. So read between the lines and stay within the fine margins. Let's go on to this battle. Femi, Prosper, for 2 minutes minimum. It's up to you to convince us as to your two positions. Femi's being that stats are fine for the game, and Prosper saying stats are killing the game. I thoroughly enjoyed both your opening. Let's see if you guys can switch it up. Your 2 minutes start right now.
Stats are making players become greedy because they want to score goals, they want to have assists. So when they get chances to lay the pass to a person better place, they wouldn't want to do that because they want to take the glory for themselves. That's one problem.
That may not really be true in every
Sadio
sense.
Mane and Mo Salah was a very good example. We've seen situations where there's a penalty and two players are dragging the penalty. Why? One wants to take the glory.
Definitely, there's no pre-agreement. If there was a pre-agreement in that team,
that's one thing.
Actually, it would definitely not be like that. That's
unappreciated because
that's actually
if you look at,
unity,
for
not
example,
statistics.
let me give you an example of Andres Iniesta. He played for Barcelona.
Okay.
When you see him on the pitch, his grace, the magnificence he brings to the ball, the way he glides past his opponents.
And do you think?
But let me shock you. In 674 games, he scored only 57 goals. That's 3 per game. When you check that stat, you say
when you mentioned initially, the interview you mentioned that
Frank Lampard
players
has better
are
goals
trying to start up the stats. Actually, it's actually not true.
No, that's true. That's true.
Let me counter that, because when players pass to the back,
gentlemen, we've got to hear you. Let each other speak. Please.
Okay. When players pass to the back, when from your opening initially, that you said that it's actually because they want to
remember
get percentage.
It's an international player that said that.
It could be making errors. Being an ex doesn't mean you're not prone to errors. So I'm trying to tell you that
your pass accuracy to be at 90, which is too low for 75.
Which doesn't produce goals, because if you are passing to the back, it doesn't produce goals. However, that could actually be that it's a pattern that the team needs to play to draw out the opponent. It's not necessarily that they are building up the stats by passing to the back, actually.
So try longer balls. Longer balls are more difficult to execute than short passes.
I would disagree.
You say they have possession, they make passes.
Longer balls are easier. Short passes are
to execute.
Short passes are difficult because you can easily be countered by your opponent.
All right, gentlemen. Now I can end it here, but I'm not sure whether the audience, whether you guys would have done each other justice so far, and it will be on you. We can't hear you in a cacophony. We need to hear you, and the only way we can hear you is to give and let give, whatever that means. So I'll give you one final minute. It's up to you now to make the best use of this. And it starts now.
Well, football will be boring without statistics, actually. Football without statistics will become static. That is what it will mean, because everybody would have nothing everyone will have no metrics that they are going to be measured on.
But there are metrics. There are things that statistics cannot, there are variables that statistics cannot bring up.
And I will still tell you that.
Let me give you an example.
Please do.
A player makes a run, drags an opponent, and opens a space for the midfielder to lay pass, and then the attacker scores. Now, the problem with stats is the attacker has a goal, the midfielder has an assist. But what happens to the player who created the channel?
He has a quality. He has a quality.
It's not tangible.
It may not be a number. It may not be a number. It may not be a recognized number. But there is a stats to that.
If he had stood there and not make that run, it's very likely that chance would not have come and the goal would not have come. So that means that's run alone.
But runs
almost the same way.
Runs are stats. Runs in football are stats too. Runs in football are stats. You cannot take runs away from football, because the successful runs you have in football are statistics.
All right. In the words of Chief Zebediah Okorigo Onwodo, it have do. Thank you. Appreciate it. And well worth our time. And thank you very much for being even more audible in the final 1 minute than you had been in the first two. I'm going to give you a chance, without the other bullying, to wrap up your game, take your points home. And after that, it is off your hands. We're streaming live on Facebook. That's 99.3, our Facebook page. We're streaming live on YouTube, and you can catch that on our official Twitter handle at Nigeria Info FM. The voting portals should be open by now. If it isn't, wait for it. It's going to be open in a bit. Have you made up your mind as to who gets your vote? On social media, if you're ready, soon you can begin to cast that vote. If you are not made up already, wait for the closing arguments and make your mind up. First up, after the closings, we will go to the phone lines, where whoever of these two individuals gets 4 yeses from the home audience will sweep the call lines. It's a straight 20%. It is not shareable. Okay? You can't share. Whoever takes the majority takes all 20. Unlike the panel vote, where you can share the 60 votes between the three panelists. It's winners take all for the phone lines. So for a final minute, Femi, convince us as to why statistics are fine for the game of football. It starts now.
Statistics have become a multi-billion-dollar industry in football and in every other sport. It's been a very, very long time that statistics have been used in football and other sports as well. A famous football and sports company, Opta Stats, is built on statistics. So if you tell me that statistics is ruling the game or is having a negative effect on the game, I would absolutely disagree. Statistics have contributed a lot. Without statistics, it's like going to a war without information of your opponents. You are going blindly into the war and you will definitely lose. That is why you find out teams that are as small as Brentford could come to Stamford Bridge to beat Chelsea 5-2 or thereabouts at different points. Such shocking results often happen intermittently because of stats that were well analyzed and well used. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. You have bought us sometimes, and can he get an applause for that, people? Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Prosper. You have your final minute to drive your own point home, and your minute can start right now.
Thank you. So one thing stats doesn't show is it doesn't show how the momentum of the game changes, like how the crowd respond and the atmosphere of the game changes, and this riles up the players, and then they start to perform at a different level. If you remember Liverpool versus Arsenal, there was an altercation between Jurgen Klopp and Arteta that changed the atmosphere of the stadium. Anfield erupted, and before you know it, Arsenal were 4-0 down. So that's how stats doesn't tell you that. And also another thing stats does is, in the future, in 20 years to come, players that we know who were very great players, who were very good, because they don't have stats to back them up, you will see that these players will now look mediocre. So young guys coming up who analyze football will now say, okay, Zinedine Zidane was no good because he had in 107 goals in a 17-year career. What does he have to show for it? So when you look at stats, it makes the game difficult for you to actually see how these players really perform. And when stats don't show you this thing, it brings a kind of negative effect on.
All right. Thank you very much, Prosper. Thank you very much, Femi. Both of you have been heard, and I must say I thoroughly enjoyed that. Maybe I should add my own applause to all of that. Thank you very much. Enjoyed this debate. Okay, guys. Did you leave your all on the field? Did you reserve some firepower for a later day that may never come? We'll find out pretty soon. If you're watching us on Facebook, our live stream is there, 99.3 Nigeria Info. If you are not yet, go there to our live official Facebook page and watch the live stream. Drop your comments. We'll see if Tony can take a couple of those comments when it's time, if possible. And then you get to vote. The voting portal must be open now. Please vote. People are already voting for me on Facebook. Oh, sorry, it's not me. It's the other Femi. Thank you. I just saw people saying Femi has my vote. I'm like, what did I do to earn your vote? I forgot that I got a namesake here. All right. Thank you very much. And on Twitter, Nigeria Info FM, our YouTube live stream is embedded on Twitter and you can follow through. Okay. Also, you can catch this battle live on the Nigeria Info app wherever you are on the planet and beyond, perhaps. So, before that, let's go to the phone line. 7 people max will determine the fate of Femi and Prosper for Battle 3 of Fan Battle Season 3. Who will be the first of the potential 7? Hello, good evening to you.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, please. What's your name?
Habib. I'm from Badagry.
Your name is Habib?
From Badagry.
Okay, welcome. You heard the debate. Oh dear, we've lost you. Well, that is somebody's vote gone tom. Let's see what else we find. Hello, good evening. Okay. So, a third voter. Hello, who's there?
Hello, Femi. Good evening.
Good evening to you. How are you?
I'm fine. This is Gideon from Abulegba.
Well done, Gideon. You heard the debate. How do you vote?
Yeah, I had the debate very well. I think my vote, I'll give my vote to Prosper.
Okay.
Prosper, right? Is that the name?
Yeah, Prosper.
Yeah, Prosper, yeah.
Okay.
And I'm more impressed with his argument, even though I actually support the notion that says the statistics matters in football game. But I think for me, Prosper made a stronger argument than the other guy, Femi.
Okay. Thank you very much. Just before we take the next call, for those of you who are trying to call us for the first time, the numbers are 0700 993 993 993. Again, 0700 993 993 993. If you remember the Nigerian for dial 99.3, you can't miss it 3 times. Preceded by 0700. That's 0700. Okay? For our ladies only, and we'll be on the lookout for you, our ladies. Your numbers are 01 465 7190. 01 465 7190. We'll be waiting for you. One vote gone. Who's next? Hi there.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening to you. Welcome.
Good evening, Femi. This is my former alumni.
Yeah.
An alumni, rather. Okay, so I would be voting for Prosper.
What's your name?
Naya.
Oh, Naya, how are you doing? Okay.
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
No, I'm good. Go ahead.
Okay, so I will be voting for Prosper.
Okay.
I thoroughly enjoyed his argument. His smoothness on the mic is impeccable. So my vote goes to Prosper.
Thank you very much. Prosper takes vote number 2. Let's see who we have here as voter number 3. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
Yeah, this is Abim calling back.
Who? Oh, okay. We lost you a while ago, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think my vote is good to Femi because of one thing. Because he quoted something and backed it up with the facts, and that's actually a great one. And for Prosper, I love his presentation, I love his argument, everything about it. But I think I'm still going to give it to Femi in the sense that he used his vote to back up the facts. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. So, 3 votes gone. Here's voter number 4. Hi there. Yikes. Okay. Hello.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening to you.
My name is Robert.
Robert, how are you doing? Where are you calling
It's
from?
a long time I heard from you, sir. I'm just calling you to greet you. Nevertheless, I support the guy that says statistics for football is okay. Without statistics, football will be on its way. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. So 4 votes gone, by the way, and it's a tie between these 2 gentlemen. 2 votes each. The next vote, well, we'll swing it one way or the other. Who's the person? Hi there. Oh, yikes. All right, let's try another line. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening to you. Okay, the line is blank. We'll try yet another. Hello, welcome. Hello, who's on the line? Okay, nothing in there. Hi there, good evening and welcome.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, please.
Clinton from Alaba International.
Welcome, Mr. Clinton.
Right. I support the statistics. Statistics is the part of the game.
You support statistics, but do you support the person who supported statistics?
The person that was defending the statistics is whom I support.
Okay, you support the person who defended statistics. All right, I just wanted to be clear. Okay. All right, what am I doing? So that will be Femi. A vote for Femi swings it 3-2. That means the next vote is consequential. It will be vote number 6. And it could make or mar the journey at this point for one of these guys. Let's see who we have. Hi there. Good evening. That's gone. Let's go to another line. Hi there. Good evening to you. That's gone as well. Yet another line. Hello. Move away from your radio and let's see whether we can take you. Hello, are you there? Are you there? No, you are not. Okay, we'll move on to yet another line. Hello, good evening and welcome.
Hello, Femi, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you two?
I just want to hear your voice. Okay, bye.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm glad you heard my voice. Good Lord, I should be on radio more. This thing is killing me. Hello, how are you doing? Yeah, good evening to you. Welcome.
This is Tracy calling from the country.
Hey, so good to have you join us. You heard the debate. How do you vote?
It's really, really close. The debate is really, really close, but I'll give it to Prosper.
You are giving it to Prosper?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very, very much. That is our 6th vote, and it ties the scores at 3-3 between these two gentlemen. 3-3. This is the final vote. And whoever you are, the fate of the world is hanging on your shoulders. Be humble as you bade. Let's see who you are. Hi there, good evening to you. No, you're not ready. Let's find who's got strong, broad shoulders. Hello, how are you?
Fine, good evening.
Good evening and welcome.
Yeah, my name is Esther, calling from Alakbere.
Esther from Alakbere. You had Femi.
Yeah.
You had Prosper. Who of the two gentlemen has your vote? And why, if you may?
I'm supporting Femi. I'm supporting Femi.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have a specific reason. You don't have to say, but you're well within your right. Okay, you don't want to say. So let's leave it at that. So Femi takes the phone votes. 20% of the votes as cast by our callers. It gets really interesting now, doesn't it? Okay. We have reached that point where we take our next break. So we'll be there for that break in just a few moments. But before we go on that break and before we come back to hear from the panel, if you haven't voted on Facebook, go now. There are about 13 minutes left to vote on Twitter. Go to Nigeria Info FM, at Nigeria Info FM. On Facebook, we have about how many minutes do we have left? You can still vote. The vote is still open. Well, I'm not sure. Just see. I guess our production people will take care of that. The Facebook votes. Drop your votes because it is consequential. We'll be right back after a really short break. And when we do come back, you'll hear from the panel of judges. So let's go straight to the panel. Gentlemen, you heard the arguments. This is where, as professionals, as media guys, we break it down in terms of argument, in terms of expression, in terms of coherence, in terms of marshalling your general ideas, in terms of interest arousing introduction, conclusions that make sense, and a body that keeps the audience in tow. How did Femi and Prosper perform? Chuma was here last night with me alongside David and, of course, Chidebere. Tonight, you already know, it's Tony, Ada, and Sam. Lady and gentlemen, the ball is in your court. Who goes first? Okay.
Let me start with Femi. Femi, I expected you to use one big advantage of stats, which is what scouts used to sell players quickly to clubs. It is by stats that we know the hottest property in the transfer market. For instance, Darwin Núñez scored 34 goals in 41 appearances in all competition. That is stats. That is what these scouts bring to the fore, and clubs will look at the numbers and then they're fascinated and then they want to do business. You didn't say that. Secondly, there's a big difference between stats and data. Hope you know. You mentioned the Brentford, Chelsea, whatever. Now, before Brentford were going to visit Chelsea, what they looked at was data, and data is that information that gives you the knowledge of a sheer knowledge of something. Why stats interprets that data, the raw data, more like it helps you compare. While comparing, stats helps you compare who is a better player, who is a better defender from Van Dijk and Emerick Laporte or Ruben Dias. Do you understand? But data is what commentators dip their hands in when they're preparing for match. I don't even understand. So I expect these are two. I expected to use that stat as how players do business, especially with scout and chief scout and recruitment department. You didn't do that, and then mixed data and stats are two different things. But basically you were confident. You knew how to also arrange your points, but your biggest weapon would have been doing business. Stats is the reason why there's inflation now in the transfer market because of the big numbers, assists and all that. And for Prosper, actually he impressed me more. He impressed me more given the fact that he went ahead to started by facts, and the fact is that most of us saw Iniesta play football. He just said one line, then he backed it with Iniesta, who was very, very. He made football look easy on the eye, and then he had to back it up that he didn't have a lot of impressive numbers, but we know that Iniesta was very close to winning the Ballon d'Or, even though that this is generation of Messi and Ronaldo.
He did blunder on the Iniesta analogy, though, saying that Iniesta was averaging 3 goals per game.
He was supposed to say 1 goal per 3 games. I understood because he was rushing. He was rushing. So I understood that it was a blunder.
I expected Femi to slaughter him, but I don't know how he let him off the wheel.
Exactly, I also heard that. Mm-hmm. So, he was able to get into tactics about the long balls, saying that it makes football quite difficult, and then the whole passing sideways. Sometimes I think it was the game involving Palace last season or so. Almost all of the 11 players touch the ball. Sometimes it's not necessary. I've seen situations where West Ham have 2-3 touches and they score a goal. So basically, Prosper convinced me with his points and getting into the long balls and tactics of football. He impressed me.
So Prosper takes Ada's vote.
Yeah.
That's that brings their score equal. Femi, having had 20% from the calls, is now 20-20. Sam, how do you vote?
Wow. To be very honest, Femi, I thought there's a lot more that wasn't done to the conversation, and from both parties anyway. I like the fact that the structure of the competition allows for proper preparations. Your opening has got to be spot on. I think that's where you employ what draws you and dares you to the judges and to the listener. And then the rebuttals here, you try to find a way to go at each other's points, tackle what they've said right and wrong. And then the closing. For me, the opening and the closing was quite brilliant from the two guys. That's Femi and of course Prosper. But again, just like Ada had earlier mentioned, scouts use stats, marketers, people who associate with football also use these numbers to decide which business they want to venture into. So that's something. Stats outside football, the marketing side to it is another side that could have been exploited mostly by you, Femi. And of course Prosper also said something about stats actually show how well players perform. Well, to a large extent it doesn't, for me anyway, so that for me was a bit of a sidestep. You could argue differently, but having listened to the two guys, I would say I thought a lot more could be done. I'm not one for numbers, so you could hold that against me. But I would say based on composure, based on marshalling of points, which are the essential ingredients to look out for, just a little edge for Femi over Prosper, who for me didn't do enough to. You brought out a lot, but you didn't do enough to expatiate on them, to give further knowledge to them. So based on those factors, for me, Femi just about edges it for me.
All right, it becomes interesting, and Femi takes 20 of the panel votes to match Prosper's 20 from Ada, for a total of 40% of the points, 40 percentage points to Femi and 20 to Prosper. Now, it comes down to Tony to either increase this gap or level it up? How do you vote?
Well, safe to say the FATG fan battle just got started. Really, this was quite something to really build on. But really, in arguments like this, I like to look out for different things. Your argument must have a structure. It must have relevance. It must have a great deal of acceptability, sufficiency, and of course your rebuttals. So those five, they're sine qua nons really, which you need. I like the way Prosper started. It was captivating. Just to also add to you, Prosper, going forward, if you would use analogy in an argument, you have to be very time conscious. All right. So when you were reading out your first point, you used an analogy, and that took a lot of the time I thought you would have used to send home your point. You just had a minute. So it's important that you understand how much you have and then how to use what you have. All right. So yeah, you could have done well or better in terms of expressing, your point. Femi, calm start, but not compelling. Arguments needs a great deal of your voice must drive the conversation because it's the tool, irrespective of what you're saying. You were very calm, and you have to, your rising and falling tone, all of these things have to come into play to be able to, compel a mind who is listening to believe what you're saying. So you must sound believable. So I thought you would have brought more of that, to be more convincing, to be more emphatic. That's the word. All right. So it could have been better from you, Femi. Prosper was more compelling in terms of his points. He was more compelling. Also, before I wrap up, Femi gave, I thought that the final stretch, which was the final 1 minute, it was what, endeared me to him. He gave a point, and that point talked about the business of starts. It's an important industry as far as football is concerned. He mentioned Opta Start. There are tons of companies that are contributing millions to the football game because, hey, statistics is what they do. It's a game of numbers. As much as we talk about the brilliance of players, but it's a game of numbers. So at every facet of the game, all right, numbers comes into play. All right, a winner is decided by numbers. So all of these things are important. So I think for me, Femi, I will tilt towards Femi. I will tilt towards him, because he gave that last point for me, turned the corner for me. Prosper was compelling, all right, with his voice, but I thought he could have done more with the points. I mean, the issue of, a lot of people cannot properly talk about a football game except they go to start. It's creating an over-dependence, really. I expected you to drag that relevance and relatability. The people must, relate with your point. So yeah, Femi, I will go with Femi. sounds weird.
What an interesting way for this to develop. And it also has some serious consequence. It does mean, as we go to social media, whatever social media decides, we have our winner. 60 percentage points already for Femi, 20 for Prosper. But again, social media has to be heard. It could have swung either way. Okay? So at that point, at 40-20, Tony's vote was of very, very great significance. And he broke down why he voted the way he did. So, that done, let's go to social media. I had said we'll take some comments, but because of our time, we will go straight into the votes. Let us start. There are 20 points 10 for Facebook, 10 for Twitter. Let's start with Facebook. How does Facebook vote?
Well, Femi, the results on Facebook. Femi, well, contestant Femi, garnered 43 points. And while Prosper garnered 57 points, or 57%, as the case may be. So, Prosper takes it on Facebook. And while just heading straight to...
So that's an additional 10 percentage points. So it's at 60-30 as we speak.
Absolutely.
Twitter.
And now on Twitter, interesting. Femi garnered 48.9%. And Prosper, yet again, with 51.1%. So it's a clean sweep on social media for Prosper.
Interesting. So it ends 60-40 in the best battle of season 3 so far. I'd want to give a warm applause to the two of you guys. Both of you are awesome. I am not prepared to say bye-bye to either one of you, but it's not entirely in my hands. I'd like to say congratulations, Femi. Thank you very much for the battle. You've come, you've seen, you've conquered on the night. You are at liberty to leave and await your place in the round of 24. That will be your next battle either Thursday or Friday next week. Congratulations. Congratulations to you. Highly appreciated. However, for you, Prosper, I'm super proud of you, right? I totally doff my cap for you. I think you probably should be on radio. I like the way you marshaled your points. You will take the lessons of the things, the areas where, you could have gone for the jugular but didn't. Take them to heart. Put them in the middle of your mind. With all my heart, I hope somehow you will progress. However, it depends on the next battlers. If they bring the A game, well, we'll see. I'll have you wait behind until that battle is complete. Is that okay by you? Okay, you're fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. Thank you very much. We need to move to the next battle. The first one is done. Battle 4 is next. There is much still to come as we go all the way to ₦1 million.